subbies, it's your girl Bree here. Welcome back to another video. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how I, as a beginner, constructed a wig with glue. So I couldn't find any more foam heads in my house, and I also don't have a wig block, so I'm using this thing. And in order to protect the hair on this mannequin head, I'm going to use a shower cap so that the glue doesn't stick directly to the hair, and it's easier to take the wig off of it, if that makes any sense. So you'll see me putting on this dome cap. I already outlined my own hairline with a white pencil kind of thing, just so that I knew where to place the front of the wig, the frontal, where I wanted the lace to be. So what I did was, while the cap was on top of my head, I placed the frontal on my head to make sure everything was lined up. Mainly because this mannequin head is smaller than mine, and so I didn't want things to be too out of place, even though I knew it was going to be just a little bit off. In the future, though, I recommend you sewing on your own frontal onto your head directly, because it'll give you a way better result. But anyway, back to the video. So this is the front I'm using. It's already plucked. It's already bleached. The knots is Gucci, It's already cut to customize my head. All of that. This is actually the hair from my birthday. I don't know if you guys seen that video, but I will definitely put that up on the screen and also link it down below. But yeah, so I'm just gonna brush it out. I would recommend that you braid it so that the hair's out the way, but I just straight up just like pinned it. I didn't even like braid it. I don't know why. But anyway, moving on. So once I have the frontal placed onto the mannequin, I'm going to go ahead and make sure everything is measured up. And I'm going to go ahead and put the glue on. Now, this is very simple, and which is why I think it would be best to use glue at first, especially if you don't know how to sew. I'll also do a video on sewing because it's actually not that hard. But the glue made it quicker for me to do this style. And it was so much easier, to just put the glue on, line everything up. So I'm not going to talk too much after I just like rambled just now. But I'm going to come back on a part so that you guys can see exactly what I'm doing. But right now I'm just laying down the frontal, and yeah. Okay, so I lost footage of me actually doing the whole frontal, so I'm going to demonstrate on this little piece right here as soon as I get the glue to come out. Is it okay? So what I did was I put the glue on the little band part of the frontal that you're supposed to put the glue on, and is out? Okay. And then as soon as it got like tacky, I place it down. To speed up the process, though, I did use the blow dryer, which you'll see in a second. So as I get my life together, I use a blow dryer to kind of put it down quicker. And I'm also using this like scissors to help lay it down. I would have used the end of a rat tail comb, but I couldn't find it, and I was being a little lazy as well. So yeah, that's all I pretty much did, and that's what you're gonna see me do with all the tracks. So here we are. I'm going to lay our first track. I'm going to start at the very bottom of the cap, and what I did was, well, I didn't have to measure out the tracks because they were already cut from the previous hairstyle. What I recommend to you to do is to measure out the tracks on your head before you place them onto the mannequin, which is like very important. Okay, I don't want you to measure them out on the mannequin and then you end up with a whole mess. So this is what I'm doing. I'm just making sure everything places how I want it to place. Because the mannequin head is smaller than mine, the tracks did not just lay completely on. I had to like curve them a bit. So that's what I'm doing here, just to make sure I do things right before I put the glue on and then I completely mess up. Remember, I'm a beginner. We are beginners here, okay? This is trial and error, but this is also a little bit of knowledge. We're not completely lost, but you know. So here I'm just placing the glue onto the track. Very simple, nothing too crazy. It's very easy to do. Just be careful, don't put too much glue and don't overdo it. And yeah, that's it. So once I place the glue on the track, I'm going to blow on a low setting. I blow the glue that's on the track just to get it to dry a little faster. Once it starts to darken a bit, I know it's tacky. So then I place it onto the cap, and when I place it onto the cap, I'm gonna go ahead and use the blow dryer again, also on a low setting, and with the scissor or end of a comb or whatever, what have you, to make sure it sticks. And once it's stuck, I go in with the higher setting just to help it dry a little quicker. So that's pretty much my process. That's all I'm gonna do throughout the head. I will come in when I get towards the top, so just so you can see how I'm placing the tracks. And yeah, I hope you guys are enjoying this video. The bottom is done. Now this part is going to be a little hard to explain because I kind of just did it like in my head and measured out myself. But what I did was once I got to the smaller tracks, I started to curve them along the sides and kind of just placed them how I thought they should be placed to cover. So you'll see me right here, how I'm just curving this track right here. No particular specific order. I just pretty much did it by eye. So that's one thing. It's a little hard to explain. I'll try to do another video that's where I can show you more so in a greater detail, hopefully, how I was able to do this. Now, I did move this track because I felt like it was way too high up and you can just see the spacing, and I didn't like that. So that's another thing. Spacing is important when it comes to constructing your wigs. You don't want your tracks to be too far apart and you don't want them to be too close, especially if you don't have that many tracks to work with. Okay, so you gotta be mindful of all of that. Again, I constructed the placement of the tracks, all in my head, so there's no specific way I'm trying to do it. But that, like I said, I will try to go in deeper in another video. But you guys can basically just, do it how you want it set up. Okay, so we're at the point where we're basically at the top of the head, and what I'm gonna do is show you guys how I just basically curved the tracks to fit where I wanted them to fit. And yeah, it's actually not that hard. It's pretty simple. I do wish that I had a wig block, which I am going to get definitely. So my next wig video, I shall do on that, and I'll actually show you guys how to construct the wig more proper. But for the sake of this video, I did curve the tracks, and it made it a little easier. It actually wasn't that bad, and I was able to fit all the tracks onto the head, so it actually worked out, which is pretty good. So what I'm going to do is actually measure out the top before I glue it on, just so that I'm sure that the tracks are laying the way I want them to lay, and that it's covering and there's no track showing, even though the hair from the front too can actually cover the track. You still want to lay it properly. Now also what I did was, and I forgot to mention, I smoothed out the hair so that none of the hair can get caught on the glue when I glue the weft. Now that the wig is finished, I took it off the mannequin head, and I noticed that the shower cap was actually stuck to the dome cap. But don't panic, all you gotta do is just pull the shower cap off and it'll come right off. It may take a little tugging in some areas, but that's fine. The glue will be wet. All you have to do is just blow dry it dry, and then you're all set. This is my final look. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Give it a huge thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Peace.